Without Butler, the Warriors looked like a team that had suddenly been thrown back to square one overnight. 2 straight losses pushed them straight into the eye of the storm. Against the Raptors, they gave up 145 points. Against the Mavericks team barely above 40%, Steph Curry exploded for 38 points and 8 threes, and it still wasn't enough to change the outcome. When it mattered most, Curry once again found himself alone, with no help in sight. There was a time when all opponents had to do was lock in on Curry, and the game was effectively over. That's exactly why Butler's arrival changed everything. He reshaped the Warriors' offense, making reckless double teams on Curry far too risky. Before Butler went down with the injury, the Warriors had gone 12-4 over a 16-game stretch, surging up the standings and pushing toward the West's top 6. With Butler sidelined, the Warriors have slipped back to 8th in the West, and 4 more losses would be enough to push them out of the play-in picture entirely. The timing couldn't have been worse. Butler went down just as the entire team was finding its rhythm and peaking. His sudden season-ending injury froze all momentum in place. Even with Curry's shooting fluctuating, Butler had been elevating teammates like D'Anthony Melton and Brandon Podziemski, with the team's chemistry steadily taking shape. Before the injury, the Warriors still believed in a playoff run. Curry remained the foundation, but Butler was the one repeatedly manufacturing miracles in big games. This season, Butler was averaging 20 points, 5.6 rebounds, 4.9 assists, and 1.6 steals, leading the team in both minutes played and cumulative plus-minus. With him on the floor, the Warriors outscored opponents by 9.2 points per 100 possessions. And then, one ligament tear erased all of it in an instant. Last year, Golden State acquired Butler via trade and committed to him with a 2-year, $110 million extension. It was a calculated gamble aimed squarely at 2025 and 2026. Now, with a projected recovery timeline of around 1 year, Butler is done for this season, and could miss a large portion of next season as well. A journey that had been steadily moving forward has been forced into a dead stop. More importantly, no one can guarantee that a post-injury Butler will ever recapture the level he reached this season. Looking across the last 20 years of NBA history, players who suffer an ACL tear at age 36 and return to their previous form are virtually non-existent. The harsher reality is this: by the time Butler returns, he'll be 37. Even without injury, expecting him to surpass his current level next season would have been unrealistic. And that's not the only pressure point for the front office. In less than 2 months, Curry will turn 38. Yes, he's still an all-star starter and still capable of controlling games, but the wear of time is becoming impossible to ignore. This season, his three-point percentage has dropped to its lowest mark in 4 years, and 2 separate injuries have already interrupted his availability. Time spares no one. The Warriors' decision-makers may feel a sense of loss, but also a quiet sense of relief. Butler's injury came before the trade deadline, leaving them with a window to choose a direction. Now, 2 radically different paths lie in front of them: cut losses and pivot, or push forward and chase the playoffs. If they choose to pivot, there's no urgency to move Jonathan Kuminga. The optimal play would be to elevate him into the starting lineup, give him the ball, let him put up numbers over half a season, then revisit trade talks in the summer after exercising his option, maximizing return. For both sides, that would be the cleanest outcome. The Warriors still control their 2026 first-round pick, which was originally earmarked for win-now upgrades. With Butler out, the need for aggressive trade reinforcements fades. And 2026 is projected to be a strong draft class. If a reset lands them a lottery pick, next season suddenly has a clear sense of purpose. But tanking comes at a steep cost, burning another year of a nearly 38-year-old Curry. No one wants to see Curry leave. But quietly closing his championship window is a different kind of cruelty altogether. The other option is to go all in, one last time, grabbing hold of the tail end of Curry's prime and pushing every remaining chip to the center of the table. Kuminga, and essentially everyone not named Curry, becomes trade eligible. Even Butler, despite being sidelined for the season, wouldn't be untouchable. It would feel cold. But the NBA is a business that never slows down for sentiment. Every ounce of the Warriors' success, and their soaring franchise value, was built by Curry. If emptying the war chest gives him a shot at a fifth championship, Golden State may decide it's worth the cost. Trying to contend while developing youth simply doesn't work. After painful lessons with James Wiseman and Kuminga, the franchise has learned the hard way that trying to have it both ways is a luxury illusion. The worst-case scenario is stagnation. Trading Kuminga for marginal win now help, continuing to overextend Curry, scraping into the play-in, maybe sneaking into the playoffs, only to exit in the first round. Then hoping to strike gold on draft night. And repeating the cycle all over again. Butler's injury has undeniably cast a shadow of regret over the Warriors' season. Yet the moment the trade was made, risk was always part of the deal. Now that the worst has happened, regret alone changes nothing. Instead of dwelling on what's been lost, the Warriors must steady themselves and move forward, eyes open, into whatever comes next.